Welcome back to Liam Doesn't Know Ball. My name is Liam. I'm an American who objectively does not know ball, but that does not stop me from having opinions. Today I'm here to predict game week I don't even know anymore. It's very confusing. I think it's game week 30. Either way, I'm here to predict the scores for this weekend. Let's get into it. Kicking off this weekend, I have Newcastle 2, West Ham 2. This just feels like the right scoreline to me. While I do think that Newcastle has a stronger squad when healthy, that's kind of been Newcastle's Achilles heel this season. They just haven't, they've been riddled with injuries. Yes, I know that every team is going to say that they've been the most affected by injuries, but I mean, at certain points, Newcastle had double-digit injuries, and Sandro Tonali got suspended, so it's not been an easy ride for Newcastle this season. But with that being said, I think that with the Geordies loudly backing them and quite a few players being back from injury, but not that full strongest 11, I think that a West Ham side that I think has been gaining a little bit of momentum. They got that draw against Aston Villa before the international break. I think they also were starting to pick up some form after a pretty poor run of form. I think they're back in seventh at this point. So they're fighting for Europe again next season based on league position. They wouldn't have to win the Europa Conference or the Europa League to get another round of Europe. Yeah, I just think that it's going to be a pretty evenly matched game, and they're just going to catch each other out twice. And yeah, that just, again, to me, this just seems like the correct score. That's what I think. Bournemouth 2, Everton 1. Everton tend to perform best at Goodison Park when they have the Evertonians loudly cheering them on. I've said many times on this channel that the fans grabbed them by the scruff of the neck and pulled them over the line. Last season, definitely, and possibly even 21-22. I'm getting my years so mixed up. But yes, 21-22, then 22-23. Again, they got pulled over on the last day. I think that Bournemouth, while they've been pretty bad in the league since the turn of the new year, they've started to pick up some momentum. They were resilient and saw out that draw against Sheffield United at home. They were resilient, and after going 3-0 down before halftime, they fought back to get a 4-3 win. So there's definitely some momentum picking up at Dean Court, whatever else they call it, I forget. And yeah, I think that they just seem a little bit more motivated than Everton. Everton have had an emotional roller coaster of a season, and I just think that this will be they just didn't deserve the win. I think they'll get a consolation goal at the end, but that'll be about it. Chelsea 3, Burnley 2. Now, for some context, this is a billion-pound squad full of wonder kids going up against a team that could finish bottom of the league. This should be an easy win for Chelsea at home, but I just don't think Chelsea will make it easy for themselves. They never do. They're my least favorite team to predict this season. I've said that many times, but I think that they'll probably go down at least once. They might score first, but then they'll go down like 2-1. I do think they will squeak out a win, but again, it won't be easy because this is Todd Bowley's Chelsea, not Roman Abramovich's Chelsea, and that's just the kind of thing that happened. Nottingham Forest 1, Crystal Palace 2. Listen, I know the City Ground was an absolute fortress last season. Well, not an absolute fortress, but Nottingham Forest performed very well last year. Their form at home probably kept them up. They still perform better at home than they do on the road, but it isn't the same mini fortress it was last season. They also will have, I know they've had a whole international break to adjust to this, but this is the first game they're going to be playing, I believe, since the points deduction was announced. So they're going to need probably a minute to adjust to having that on their mind while playing. And I think it's just going to take this weekend to click. Crystal Palace also still probably will have that new manager bounce. And I think that Eze and Olise will just be a little bit too much for the Nottingham Forest defense to handle. And yeah, Crystal Palace will be probably very fun to watch. I'm actually looking forward to that game. And yeah, I think that the goal they'll concede is just when they switch off setting a set piece. Sheffield United 1, Fulham 3. I probably shouldn't even be giving Sheffield United a goal, but because of how bad they've been at home. They've been atrocious at Bramall Lane, especially of late. I probably shouldn't be giving them a goal, but the teams that have put those 5 and 6-0 wins past them, I just don't think that Fulham is as defensively sound as Brighton, which granted, yes, Sheffield United were down a man from very early on, but still Brighton's pretty strong defensively. I think Aston Villa is much stronger defensively, and Arsenal is obviously monumentally stronger defensively than Fulham. I think that Fulham, the attacking form they're in right now, they'll have no problem creating chances and finishing them. But I do think they'll concede a goal, probably something late as a consolation, and I kind of hope they get it. If for nothing else, for the fans, I really do feel bad for their fans. Yeah, so sorry, Sheffield United. Just, I can't back anything more than that. Tottenham 3, Luton 1. Do I even need to justify the scoreline? I probably need to justify why I'm giving Luton a goal. And it's because, as one of the announcers said when Luton was playing Aston Villa and they tied it up at 2-2, this lot don't know when they're beat. Even if they go down, they're going to fight until that final whistle blows. And yeah, I think that they'll just, by sheer power of will, just bungle something into the back of the net, or, something on a set piece. Maybe there will be chaos in the box, maybe a penalty. But I do see Luton just nicking a goal. Aston Villa 2, Wolves 0. Now, Aston Villa don't have the best record against Wolves. They've failed to win the last 6 games. And I'm predicting that trend to get bucked this weekend. Unai Emery started his first game as Aston Villa manager, overturning a cursed fixture at Manchester United at Villa Park. And yeah, I would like to call this to be a closer game because Wolves have very much impressed me this season. They've been very fun to watch. I'm not going to go and call it a derby because it just isn't. But Neto's out, Hwang's still out, and Cunha is still out. I just don't know that Wolves have enough attacking left to get past that Aston Villa defense. So Aston Villa 2, Wolves 0. Brentford 1, Manchester United 2. This just has to be the scoreline. Brentford are not the team they were last season, where they were pushing for Europe, finished the season 2 points off Europe. I know that Tony's back, but the G-Tech Stadium is not the fortress it was last season. United just have too much quality. They have to get it done. Hoyland's going to be back. I'm sure that he'll return to his great goal-scoring form. If not, Kobe Mainoo has been very good. Garnacho, Rashford. Someone has to come up with something. Even if it's Maguire on a set piece. They have to get 2 goals. And I'm sure Brentford will get another goal with Ivan Toney either on a penalty or him doing something questionable on a free kick. Either way, I back Toney to score. Liverpool 3, Brighton 1. Yeah, I know that Liverpool, right before the international break, suffered a really heartbreaking loss at Old Trafford in the last minute, but I don't care. These are very elite mentality athletes. They will have already forgotten this. They've gone on their international duty, scrubbed that out of their mind. They're going to be ready to go again to try and win the league for Klopp. Yes, they won't be able to get a quad, but who cares? They can still win the league. that would be a huge get. Even if they don't win the Europa League, the League Cup and the Premier League would be a fantastic send off. As far as Brighton, I know they don't have any other competitions except the Premier League, but this is not the same Brighton that we saw last season. I know that they had Europa League until very recently, but they just don't look the same as they did last season. Like, they seem like what they are right now is they seem to be a team that beats the teams they should beat and lose to the teams that they should lose to. Liverpool is a team that they should lose to. There's no shame in going to Anfield and losing. It's just Liverpool are very good. Yeah, so I'm thinking Darwin, Diaz, and a returning Andy Robertson will score. That's another thing I wanted to touch on. Over the next 3 weeks, Liverpool will get at least 2 main players back, or at least one. Sorry, at least one. This week it's Darwin and Robertson. I believe, I forget who it is next week. I probably should have looked that up, or I did, but I forgot. Should have had it in my notes. And Allison is going to be coming back, I believe, on the 14th. So, yeah, Liverpool are, I think, coming into their stride at the correct time. I'm giving Brighton a consolation goal for Danny Welbeck. I think it's just going to be something where there's just chaos in the box and it just gets bungled in and Kelleher just won't be able to keep it out because, again, chaos. Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Pretty easy Liverpool win. Finally, the game of the weekend that we've all had on our calendars for probably months. A little gift to all of us from the Easter Bunny. This is going to be an entertaining game. And obviously, I mean, City is the best team in the world. Everyone knows that. Blah, blah, blah. But I think that some people are going to have this as a bigger win for City. And listen, it could be. City can do anything. City can beat anyone on any given day. But the reason why I'm keeping it close is this is not the same Arsenal team that City tore apart twice last season. They've already beat them at the Emirates. The Etihad is a different beast, so that's why I'm not backing them to get a result. But I think they'll at least keep it close. Yeah, I just can't say anything else other than this is going to be entertaining. I back City to get the win. I don't even back Arsenal to even get a result, but they will, I think that they can still prove just how much they've improved by not getting spanked 4-1, and that alone would be a statement and show last year wasn't a fluke. We are here. We are established. We've got a project going on, and we're going to be here for a while. And I can't wait to watch it.